Nyx Fortuna stood just outside the boundary of her station, portal magic humming around her in a lazy, serpentine loop. A map of planets was splayed like an interactive hologram in the surrounding air, silver dots shimmering against an ocean of velvet black. There were more dots, more planets, than there had been when she'd started bringing up the map for practice several months ago. The first time she tried, wearing the 4 portal magic bracelets that were her minimum number to feel safe, she'd only been able to bring up those planets and moons that were in the bounds of Earth's solar system. Now there were multitudes of dots beyond those, enough that she had to walk through the map if she actually wanted to see them all.
"Have you had any luck with the navigation?"
Griff asked. He'd walked up a minute or so ago, stopping just within the station's boundary, as Calarius required either Griff or Nyx to remain connected to them at all times. "No," Nyx said glumly. By navigation, he meant not only manipulating the map, but also identifying the planets the dots represented. Seth had once told her that when Kyvren had been looking for Nyx when she'd been lost on Amentia Furor, he had been able to make the map smaller, in effect like zooming out on a computer screen so that he could see more planets at once without having to physically walk through the points. So far, she'd been unable to do it herself. She tried various hand motions, including drawing her middle finger and thumb together, as Set told her Kyvren had done, and attempting to imbue both her magic and her intention into the movement. But nothing had worked. She had no idea how he'd done it, just like she had no idea how he'd been able to tell which planets were which. She could identify those within Earth's solar system, obviously, because she could relate where she was standing, Earth, to the orbits of the other planets. But outside of that, she had no idea. She toyed with the thought of trekking into dead Earth for some books on astronomy that detailed various planetary systems, which she might still do at some point, but had ultimately decided they wouldn't do anything but sate her curiosity. They wouldn't help her actually navigate if she went somewhere new. She couldn't carry an astronomy book around with her every time she portaled. She couldn't memorize every system in the universe. Also, those systems were not all mapped. So all it would take was one slip into uncharted territory for her mostly useless book to become completely useless. How Kyvren had pulled up this very map in nearly this very spot, though his map had certainly included far more planets than hers did, and identified Lahain and then Amentia Furor as the planets Nyx had been on, she didn't know. And it was driving her to distraction.